management. Introduction. Hello again, everyone. You must be wondering where I am right now, aren't you? Well, I'm at one of the largest repositories in the country, National Archives of India, or NAI, which is situated in New Delhi. This institute housed innumerable sources of which include different books which were the outcome of years of diligent work undertaken by several historians. Just as with archives, institutes such as libraries, museums also conserved and preserved these precious historical heritages. A few specimens are chosen from the rest, which are then displayed to the general public. Furthermore, they also published research journals, informative pamphlets, leaflets, posters, etc. Those documents and artifacts which were, however, not exhibited but considered as being historically important were stored in various archives following necessary treatments for their conservation and preservation. These documents and artifacts were made available to researchers as and when necessary. There are a number of libraries and archives across the country that were involved in the conservation, preservation, and management of books of various kinds. Let us learn more about the aforementioned processes in detail. Sources of history, their conservation and preservation. Steps such as collecting various sources of history, compiling their records and indexes, exhibiting manuscripts, old books and artifacts, strict observance of the steps necessary for the completion of related treatments, etc., required very careful handling and management. Successful accomplishment of the aforementioned task required the services of individuals that possessed a specific set of skills. Only those individuals who were well trained and duly qualified took up these tasks. Oral sources of history. Collection and compilation of folk songs, folk tales, etc. Classification, analysis and interpretation of the compiled material. Publication of results of the respective research. Necessary training. 1. Sociology and anthropology. 2. Social psychology. 3. Mythology and linguistics. 4. Library science and information technology. 5. History and historical research method. 6. Writing of research reports and articles. Written sources of history. Collecting artifacts like coins and copper plates. Documents like official records, personal correspondence and diaries. Historical books, old books, manuscripts, pictures, photographs, etc. Completing necessary mechanical and chemical processes of cleaning for the conservation and preservation of collected documents. Ascertaining the historical value of collected documents. Exhibiting selected documents. Publishing edited documents and research reports. Necessary training. 1. Knowledge of scripts like Brahmi, Modi, Persian, etc. and their development. 2. Basic knowledge of social organization and traditions, literature and culture, dynasties, administrative systems, etc. of past societies. 3. Knowledge of various schools and styles of painting, sculptural art and the history of their development. 4. Knowledge of types of paper, ink and colors. 5. Knowledge of properties of various stones and metals used in inscriptions. 6. knowledge of the equipment and chemicals used in various processes of cleaning, conservation and preservation. 7. Knowledge of various approaches of managing exhibitions in museums, galleries and information technology. 8. Writing research reports and articles. Material sources of history. Collection and classification of artifacts according to their historical date and type, and preparation of their respective indexes. Completion of the necessary mechanical and chemical processes of cleaning for the conservation and preservation of collected documents. Arranging exhibitions of selected artifacts or their replicas. Writing and publishing research articles about collected artifacts. Classifying fossils of plants and animals and preparing indexes. Exhibiting selected fossils or their replicas. Necessary training. 1. Basic knowledge of archaeological methods, theories and ancient civilizations. 2. Knowledge of the regional sources and chemical properties of materials like stone, minerals, metals and clay used in the production of artifacts. 3. Knowledge of equipment and chemicals necessary for the cleaning of artifacts and other chemical processes. 4. Knowledge of various schools and styles of art and their development. 5. Knowledge and skills of making replicas or models of artifacts and fossils. 6. Knowledge of various approaches of managing exhibitions in museums, galleries, and information technology. 7. Writing research reports and articles. Some famous museums. The concept of museum originated in medieval Europe, wherein various antiquities collected by members of royal and elite families were managed in an organized manner. Louvre Museum, France. The Louvre Museum, situated in Paris, France, was established during the 18th century CE. Antiquities collected by members of the French royal family were first exhibited in this museum. It included the much acclaimed painting of the Mona Lisa by the world-renowned artist Leonardo da Vinci, who had worked under the patronage of Francis I, the King of France, during the 16th century CE. The collections in the Louvre Museum increased to a great extent due to various other exotic antiquities brought back by Napoleon Bonaparte, 1769 to 1821, Emperor of France during the 19th century CE, from his conquests across Europe. Presently, the museum houses more than 380,000 artifacts. British Museum, England. The British Museum, situated in London, England, was established during the 18th century CE by Sir Hans Sloane, a natural scientist who handed over about 71,000 objects in his collection to the King of England, George II, which included several books, pictures, specimens of preserved plants or herbarium, etc. Later, this collection was expanded to include various art objects and ancient artifacts collected by the British from their colonies in Asia and Africa. Presently, the museum boasts of 80 lakh different artifacts and objects. National Museum of Natural History, United States of America. This museum, managed by the Smithsonian Institution, was established in 1846 CE. It housed more than 12 crore or 126 million specimens of fossils and remains of plants and animals, minerals, rocks, meteoroids, human fossils, human remains, and human cultural artifacts. Museums in India. The first museum in India, the Indian Museum, also known as the Imperial Museum, was established by the Asiatic Society of Bengal in Kolkata in 1814 CE. Another museum, the Government Museum, was established in Chennai, or erstwhile Madras, in 1851 CE. The National Museum was established in Delhi on 15th August 1949 CE. Presently, there are several museums located in various states of India. Few among them include Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Vastu Sangrahalaya, Mumbai; Salar Jung Museum, Hyderabad; the Calico Museum of Textiles, Ahmedabad. Usually, large museums had their own libraries. Furthermore, there were some museums affiliated to universities which offered courses in the subject of museology, that is, the systematic study of the organization, management, and function of a museum. Following are some of the well-known institutes and universities which offered degree and diploma courses in the subject of museology. 1. National Museum, Delhi. 2. Maharaj Sayaji Rao University, Vadodara. 3. Kolkata University, Kolkata. 4. Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. 5. Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh. 6. Jivaji University, Gwalior. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Vastu Sangrahalaya. In 1904 CE, some influential residents of Mumbai, erstwhile Bombay, decided to establish a museum to commemorate the visit of Edward VIII, who was the Prince of Wales at the time, to India. In November 1905 CE, the foundation stone of the museum building was laid by the Prince, after which the museum was formally named as the Prince of Wales Museum of Western India. It was renamed as the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Vastu Sangrahalaya in 1998 CE. In honor of the warrior king and founder of the Maratha Empire, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. This occurred 3 years after the renaming of the city itself in 1995 CE from its colonial name Bombay to Mumbai. The structure of this museum is built in the Indo-Gothic or Indo-Saracenic style, which incorporated elements of other styles of architecture such as the Mughal, Maratha and Jain. It has been bestowed the status of Grade 1 Heritage Building and was furthermore awarded First Prize or Urban Heritage Award by the Bombay chapter of the Indian Heritage Society for Heritage Building Maintenance in 1990 CE. The museum houses about 50,000 antiquities and artifacts of ancient Indian history, which was divided into 3 categories, namely arts, archaeology, and natural history. The museum housed Indus Valley Civilization artifacts and other relics from ancient India from the time of the Guptas, Mauryas, Chalukyas, and Rashtrakutas. Libraries and archives. According to the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, library is defined as a place in which literary, musical, artistic, or reference materials such as books, manuscripts, recordings, or films are kept for use but not for sale. From this definition, one can surmise that libraries are storehouses of knowledge and information. The subject of library science is closely related to the fields of management science and education. Libraries performed various essential tasks such as collecting books, arranging them in a systematic manner, their conservation and preservation, dissemination of information on various sources, etc. Many of these tasks were completed with the aid of computerized systems. Making a particular book available to a reader as per his requirement is the most important aspect of library management. The library at Taxila or Takshashila University, 5th century BCE to 5th century CE. The Royal Library of Ashurbanipal, 7th century BCE, the Assyrian Emperor of Mesopotamia, and the library at Alexandria, Egypt, 4th century BCE, are the earliest surviving libraries in the world. The Saraswati Mahal Granthalay or the Tanjore Maharaja Serfoji's Saraswati Mahal Library or TMSSML in Tanjavur, Tamil Nadu was built in 16th to 17th century CE during the times of the Nayak dynasty. Following the end of Nayak dynasty in 1675 CE, Vyankoji Raje Bhosle, the younger half-brother of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj and his successors, particularly Sarfoji II, 1798 to 1832, supervised the expansion of this museum. The museum housed a rare collection of palm leaf manuscripts and papers written in Tamil, Telugu, Marathi, Hindi, and a few other languages indigenous to India. The collection comprised of over 49,000 volumes, though only a tiny fraction of these are on display. There are several noteworthy libraries in India. For instance, National Library at Kolkata, Nehru Memorial Museum and Library at Delhi, State Central Library at Hyderabad, Library of Asiatic Society and David Sassoon Library at Mumbai, etc. When perceived from a technical point of view, the management of archives was akin to library management, preserving documents with important content in their original condition, preparing indexes, and creating accurate systems of retrieval of documents, when required, were important tasks in the management of archives. Documents stored in these archives were considered to be highly reliable. Due to heavy dependency on computerized systems in recent times, information technology has become an inevitable part of the management of libraries and archives. The first official archive of India, the Imperial Record Department, which would soon come to be known as the National Archives of India or NAI, was established on 11th March 1891 CE in Kolkata. It was later shifted to Delhi in 1911 CE following the transfer of the capital of India during the British Raj from the very same locations. On 6th July 1998 CE, the then President of India, the Honorable K.R. Narayanan, declared the Museum of National Archives open to the general public. The NAI was under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Culture of the Indian government. The documents preserved here are arranged in a chronological order since 1748 CE. It included records in English, Arabic, Hindi, Persian, Sanskrit and Urdu languages. It also included records in the Modi script. These records are classified into 4 categories. 1. Public records. 2. Oriental studies. 3. Manuscripts. 4. Private records. State governments in India maintained their own independent archives. For instance, archives of the Maharashtra state government has its branches situated in Mumbai, Pune, Kolhapur, Aurangabad and Nagpur. There are 5 crore or 50 million Modi documents related to Maratha history housed in the Pune branch. These documents are referred to as Peshwa Daftar. Encyclopedias. Encyclopedia is defined as a systematic compilation of information or knowledge of various topics. This information or knowledge is ideally arranged with a specified method. Organization of available knowledge and its easy access is the chief objective of encyclopedias. Benefits of encyclopedia. Encyclopedias made vast volumes of knowledge accessible to readers, which in turn helped satisfy their intellectual curiosity. Encyclopedias provide fundamental information on any topic in a proper manner, thereby making it easier for the reader to understand its contents. This in turn motivated the reader to read more often. Encyclopedias made existing knowledge easily accessible to scholars and researchers, whilst highlighting research areas which had not yet received enough attention. Encyclopedias were often prime indicators of cultural ripeness in a society. The intellectual and cultural needs of a society ideally determined what kind of encyclopedic literature would be created. Accuracy, meticulousness, objectivity, standardization of presentation, and updated information are the criteria for designing a structure of an encyclopedia. In order to incorporate the latest available information, revised editions of encyclopedias or supplements to original editions need to be published. Encyclopedias are arranged either in an alphabetical or thematic order. The type of order is decided beforehand by keeping the convenience of readers in mind and the ease of accessibility to that particular information. In this regard, an index provided at the end of the encyclopedia offers much convenience. An encyclopedia can be ideally created either by a single editor or an editorial committee. The articles in the encyclopedia are written by experts on that particular subject. Types of encyclopedia. Encyclopedias were approximately divided into 4 types. 1. Dictionaries. 2. Comprehensive encyclopedia or Vishwakosh. 3. Encyclopedic or Koshadrush literature. 4. Indexes. 1. Dictionaries. Dictionaries arrange words in a particular language and a certain order, with alphabetical being the most common. It provided meanings of words, synonyms, and etymologies. There are various types of dictionaries, namely comprehensive dictionaries, dictionaries including certain type of words, dictionaries of terminology, that is, dealing with terms peculiar to a branch of knowledge, etymological dictionaries, thesauruses, dictionaries of idioms and proverbs, etc. 2. Comprehensive encyclopedia or Vishwakosh. There are 2 types of Vishwakosh, namely one that included all subjects under the sun. For example, Encyclopedia Britannica, Maharashtriya Gyanakosh, Marathi Vishwakosh, etc., while the other included comprehensive information on one chosen subject. For example, Bharatiya Samskriti Kosh, Vyayam Gyan Kosh, etc. 3. Encyclopedic or Koshadrush literature. It is similar to an encyclopedia which comprised scholarly articles providing information on possible aspects of one or more predetermined subjects. For example, Maharashtra Jeevan, Volume 1 and 2, Sahar Pune, Volume 1 and 2, Yearbook or Manorama, Times of India, etc. 4. Indexes. Indexes usually occurred at the end of a book. There are a few indexes which are published separately. Indexes are alphabetical lists of individuals, subjects, places, keywords, and reference books. For example, the index of Marathi periodicals prepared by S.G. Date were helpful in this regard in finding the required information, thus making it easily accessible to readers. Encyclopedia and history. Both encyclopedia and history as academic exercises laid stress on objectivity. Encyclopedias, published in various countries and in various languages, may differ in their approach because of different priorities. Their structure is influenced by national policies, ethical values, and ideals. Encyclopedias can be a medium of strengthening national identity. For example, Bharatiya Samskriti Kosh, which was edited by Mahadev Shastri Joshi. Making knowledge in all spheres of life accessible to everyone was one of the major drives behind the creation of encyclopedias. When gaining knowledge and propagating it becomes a chief objective, the creation of encyclopedias become possible, either through individual or collective efforts. Hence, encyclopedias can be looked upon as outstanding achievements of a society. It is the manifestation of the collective intellect and creativity of a society. Following are some of the earliest encyclopedias ever compiled in history. 1. Natural History, the first ever encyclopedia, compiled by Pliny the Elder, 1st century CE. Encyclopédie, an encyclopedia compiled by the French philosopher Denis Diderot during the 18th century CE. 3. Encyclopedia Britannica, first published in 1767 CE. This compilation was supposed to be an important milestone in the making of encyclopedia. An ancient tradition of dictionaries like Nighantu, Shabdakosh, etc. were in existence in the Indian subcontinent. The encyclopedic works of the Mahanubhav sect and the Rajya Vyavahar Kosh, prepared during the reign of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, were important books of the medieval Indian period. Encyclopedias on history-related subjects. There is a rich tradition of creating encyclopedias on history-related subjects, with Bharatvarshiye Prachin Aitihasik Kosh by Raghunath Bhaskar Godbole, 1876, being the earliest of this kind. It included information about various individuals and places in ancient India. According to the editor, those individuals who lived in Bharatvarsha earned a name for themselves and were part of us, along with their women, their sons, their religions, their lands and capitals, also the rivers and mountains in their lands. Whatever their history is given in this encyclopedia. 23 volumes of Maharashtriya Gyankosh, edited by Sridhar Vyankatesh Ketkar, are available. The major drive for Ketkar in its creation was to facilitate wider access to knowledge and to expand the intellectual sphere of Marathi-speaking people. His far-reaching view of history is reflected in these volumes. Another important encyclopedia was the Bharatvarshiya Charitrakosh. Siddheshwar Shastri Chitrav established a committee known as Bharatiya Charitrakosh Mandal for publishing this encyclopedia. 3 volumes were published, namely Bharatvarshiya Prachin Charitrakosh, 1932, Bharatvarshiya Madhya Yugin Charitrakosh, 1937, and Bharatvarshiya Arvachan Charitrakosh, 1946. The first volume provided information on the lives of individuals mentioned in the Vedic literature, including Shruti, Smriti, Sutras, Vedangas, Upanishads, along with Puranas, Jain and Buddhist literature. Similarly, other two volumes contain biographies of individuals in existence during their respective periods. Other special encyclopedias published at the time include 1. Sangeet Shastrakar va Kalavant Yancha Itihas by Lakshman Dattatray Joshi. 2. Krantikara Kansa Charitrakosh by S.R. Date, which contained biographies and illustrations of about 250 Indian revolutionaries. 3. Swatantra Sainik Charitrakosh by N.R. Pathak, which contained biographies of those who suffered corporal punishment, imprisonment at the hands of the British, and those who sacrificed their entire lives during the Indian independence movement. Sthalkosh. Geographic information is essential for historical studies. Encyclopedias which provided information about historical places are available. 1. Sthanapothi, 14th century CE. It was an encyclopedic text composed by Muni Vyas of the Mahanubhav sect. It described all those places visited by Chakradhar Swami, who was the founder of the Mahanubhav sect. It gave us an inkling about Maharashtra during that time period. It also provided details on the time, place and background of the events described in Leela Charitra. Hence, it is considered to be a very good source for writing on the life of Chakradhar Swami. 2. Prachin Bharatiya Sthalkosh, 1969. This encyclopedic book, compiled by Siddheshwar Shastri Chitrav, provided information regarding various places mentioned in the Vedic literature. Kautilya's Arthashastra, Panini's treatise on grammar entitled Ashtadhyayi, Valmiki's Ramayana, Vedavyasa's Mahabharata, Puranas, medieval Sanskrit literature, and Shabdkosh, as well as Jain, Buddhist, Greek, Chinese, and Persian literature. Vishwakosh. The first Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Honorable Shri Yashwantrao Chavan, provided all his support through the Maharashtra Rajya Sahitya Samskriti Mandal for the compilation of the Marathi Vishwakosh with a view to support the enhancement of Marathi language and literature. The work commenced under the guidance of Tarakatirtha Lakshmana Shastri Joshi. It contained knowledge on all possible subjects in the world. It also contained important entries on the subject of history. Bharatiya Samskriti Kosh. 10 volumes of Bharatiya Samskriti Kosh were edited and published by Mahadev Shastri Joshi. They contained information on Indian history, geography, various ethnic and lingual groups, local history of these groups and their festivals, and other cultural aspects. Samgyana Kosh. There are encyclopedic texts which explained the terminology, for instance, colonialism, globalization, etc., of history. Such texts were useful for the teachers of history. School, college, and university teachers of history could find ample opportunities in the field of publication of encyclopedias. Encyclopedias of all types require experts in history. Every subject has a developmental history. Scholars of history can contribute significantly to encyclopedias of various types. Conclusion. How about it, folks? Do you find the subject of history boring now? I'm sure you don't, especially after all the time we've had on this wonderful and exciting journey. Our encounter with the subject of history not only enlightened us on the various facets involved with the subject, but also acted as a mirror through which we were able to get a glimpse of ourselves, and in the process helped us realize that history is me, history is you, history is we,
History is us all. History does not end just by learning about it. As long as planet Earth exists, history exists. For many of our folks who had initially questioned the monetary aspect of the study of history following all the sessions we've been part of, I am sure they must have noticed that with specialization in this subject, one could get access to several career opportunities in various fields. Those interested in this field could shape his or her future career with the help of each and every information that we have shared since the beginning of our journey. I'm sure that everyone here today, in the coming future, would not only learn and study more about history, but would one day make history.